Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to TopNoteByA. Today, for the first time on this channel, I'm doing a declutter video. So I'm going to declutter about 9 fragrances from my collection. Also, one of the fragrances I don't own anymore. I gave it out to a friend of mine already. If you guys are interested to find out which fragrances I'm decluttering from my collection, then stay tuned. Sipping on your love. Welcome back to TopNoteByA. My name is Amanda. For those of you visiting this channel for the first time, I review all things fragrances. I will show you tips and tricks to buy most fragrances at a discount. To all my returning subscribers, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. That being said, like the intro said, I am about to declutter about 9 fragrances from my collection. If you guys are interested to find out which 9 fragrances, then let's start with the first fragrance that I'm about to declutter from my collection. The first fragrance that I'm about to declutter from my collection is from Navitus Parfum X Pauline Char. So this is a new release. Late last year this fragrance was released. It's called Venom of Love. This fragrance is leaving my collection because, first of all, I'm not using it. I don't crave this fragrance, and when I even reviewed this fragrance, which I never posted the video, but I did review this fragrance, I did say that it wasn't working for me. It wasn't a fragrance that I love right away. Also, I gave it about maybe 5 chances that I've been wearing this fragrance. I wore it 5 times and it still didn't do it for me. So I don't feel the need to hold on to the fragrance, even though it's from a fragrance reviewer here on YouTube that I admire. It's still not a fragrance that I see myself wearing, and it's sitting there. And as big of a collection that I think I have, I want to have fragrances that I will, even if I haven't worn it in a year, I can pick it up and still love it. And this fragrance, you know, after using it 5 times, it's still not doing it for me. This fragrance is sweet. It's one of the cherry fragrances. It's chocolatey. It has sour cherry liqueur. It has bitter almonds. It has chocolate. It has another cherry. It has Turkish rose, Egyptian jasmine, amberwood, almond, vanilla, and whipped cream. The cherry in here for my nose and to my nose and on my skin, it's synthetic. The cherry is not doing it for me. The chocolate feels like it's also synthetic. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like real chocolate on my skin. And overall, I really do not like this fragrance. So I'm going to send this fragrance to a good home. I'm going to list this fragrance on my Macari. Also, I do have a Facebook group. I think it's called Fragrance Junkie, and one is Freak Talk. So I can also list it over there if anybody is interested. If any of you that are watching also want to purchase this fragrance, follow me on Instagram, TopNoteByA, DM me and tell me that you want this fragrance and I can send it to you at a good price. I move on. The next fragrance that is leaving my collection is from Balenciaga. I know Balenciaga is cancelled, but that is not the reason why I'm getting rid of this fragrance. I'm getting rid of this fragrance because I do not reach for it. I think about a year that I have owned this fragrance, I can count the number of times that I have reached for this fragrance or thought about this fragrance, or you know, like, it's not a bad smelling fragrance. It's not. I love the violet leaf in here. I just do not reach for this fragrance. The base of this fragrance also has patchouli and sandalwood, Virginia sandalwood, but I don't reach for this fragrance. I don't crave this fragrance. I will always skip over this fragrance and pick something else. So I feel like this fragrance should go to a good home, somebody who will appreciate the fragrance. It is a very beautiful fragrance. I just don't reach for it. So for the first time in my journey into fragrances, I'm actually doing a declutter, and this fragrance has to go to a good home. I move on. The next fragrance that is leaving my collection is from Ete Libre d'Oranger. This fragrance is called Is It the King. I remember when I ordered this fragrance, I remember when I did a dedicated review to this fragrance house. But since then, once again, I can count how many times I've reached for this fragrance. It has soapy notes, it has aldehyde, it has musk, it also has jasmine, rosemary, lily of the valley, patchouli in the base, sandalwood and ambroxan. It is a nice smelling fragrance, but the fact that I don't reach for it, the fact that I don't even think about it, guys, sometimes when I'm laying down, I'm already thinking about the fragrance that I'm gonna wear the next day in the morning. What fragrance am I going to wear to work out? What fragrance am I going to wear to work, to bed, to go out? I'm already thinking about these things. So if I have a fragrance in my collection that I see all the time, but then I don't think about it, I feel like the fragrance should go to a good home. It's not a bad smelling fragrance. The patchouli in here is done very well. It has an abundance of jasmine in here and lily of the valley. It opens beautifully. That soapy notes that this fragrance has. The fact that once again I am not reaching for the fragrance, so it has to go to a good home. I move on. Guys, the next fragrance that I'm decluttering from my collection is leaving my collection. It's actually new to my collection, but the first time I sprayed this fragrance, I knew I wasn't going to like it at all. This is called Baruch Rogue and it's from Lattafa. Their Maison Al Aramein collection or line that is under Lattafa. It's supposed to dupe Baroque Rouge 540, the Estrate. But the first time I sprayed this fragrance, I knew it wasn't for me at all. There is something synthetic in here that did not work very well for my skin. There is something weird in the dry down for me, something that I can put a finger on it, but something weird in the dry down. The fragrance has amber, it has fruits, it has the next fragrance that is leaving my collection is from Al Aramein, and this is called Baroque Rouge. This is supposed to dupe Baroque Rouge 540, the Estrate. Guys, my back is killing me. I'm so sorry if I put my hands behind my back, but it's killing me. So Baroque Rouge, it's supposed to mimic Baroque Rouge 540, the Estrate. And when I first got this fragrance, I knew this is not the fragrance for me. First spray, there was something in the background that like smells synthetic. There is something synthetic in here. The fragrance is sweet, it's vanillic, it's floral. It smells nice, except that in the dry down, that synthetic note, I cannot get over it. And I used this I think 3 times and I still I cannot get with this fragrance. So I'm sending this to a good home. I'm gonna list it on my Mercari. I will put a link to my Mercari in the description bar below. Check it out. I move on. Guys, when I was thinking about doing a declutter video, the first fragrance that I actually wanted to declutter was the Venom of Love. That was the first fragrance that I knew for a fact that I don't want in my collection. The second fragrance is this fragrance from Vicanto. It's called Rare. This fragrance, it has Szechuan pepper, wormwood, coriander. It has hot iron. I don't know what hot iron smells like. It has palisander, rosewood, crystal. It has amber. It's fresh, it's warm, it's spicy. It's just a fragrance that I don't think I've ever used this fragrance I've never used this fragrance. I don't remember using this fragrance, except when I review my Vicantos that I have in my collection. I don't think I've ever reached for this fragrance. If I have, maybe once or twice, but I cannot remember. That's how it's not a memorable fragrance for me, so I cannot even remember using this fragrance. So for that reason alone, I think I'm gonna declutter this fragrance from Vicanto. I'm gonna declutter this fragrance from Vicanto called Rare. It smells okay, it's just that it's not memorable for me. It's not a fragrance that I think of at all. So yeah, why not send it to somebody that will appreciate what the fragrance is? I move on. Another fragrance that is leaving my collection is from JLo, and I think this is called Dark Night. I hauled this fragrance and never used the fragrance, so I don't even know what the fragrance smells like. Never ever. I don't remember. It's soapy and clean, but I never reached for this fragrance. I've never sprayed this fragrance. So for that reason alone, I love my JLo Miami. I love the original JLo. That gives me that soapy vibe that I need. This so yeah, I'm sending this to a good home. I've only sprayed it once, just what you saw. That's it. So yeah, this is gonna go to a good home. I hope it goes to a good home. I move on. The next fragrance that is leaving my collection is from Juicy Couture. I got this when I first started, like collecting fragrances. I think I got this from one of the rack stores. It's not a bad smelling fragrance, but it's a fragrance that I can count on one hand how many times I've reached for it, how many times I have thought about this fragrance. So for that reason alone, I don't have that much dent in this fragrance. I'm actually gonna give this to my daughter. She will appreciate the pink. She already called dibs on this fragrance already, so this one is gonna go to my daughter. I move on. The last fragrance that is leaving my collection is from Dolce Gabbana, and this fragrance is called Le Temperance. It's leaving my collection because I don't get the fragrance at all. I've tried it a couple of times. It's powdery, it has iris, it's musky, it has ambrette, it has pink pepper, but it doesn't do it for me. Like, I don't even want to spray, but I have to remind myself. Yeah, it's light, it's watery, it's a very good like spring and summer fragrance. That being said, on my skin, it doesn't do it. Like, I don't get it. So yeah, I'm gonna declutter this fragrance. It pains me to declutter a Dolce & Gabbana from my fragrance collection, but I need this to go to somebody who will appreciate this fragrance for what it is. For how long I've had the fragrance, the dent is not denting at all, because I have not reached for this fragrance in forever. I don't even remember. I think the only time I reached for this fragrance was in a haul, and I reviewed it, and Les Imprentrins, that one I use it, that one I like. This one, the Temperance one, it's not a favorite of mine. It's not a fragrance that I love. It's not a fragrance that I like. I'm trying to have a collection of fragrances that I love and like. So even if I'm not like in love with the fragrance, it should be a fragrance that I like. If I like the fragrance, I will use it. But if it's not like a fragrance that is memorable, that I like but it's not memorable, then it needs to leave my collection. It has to be a fragrance that I like, that is very memorable, that I crave. It has to be a fragrance that maybe there is a note that I don't like, but then there are so many other notes that I vibe with, so I will keep in my collection. These fragrances, most of them are fragrances that I like, but they are not memorable for me, so they need to leave my collection and go to people that will appreciate them for what they are. That being said, if you have watched till the end, thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for supporting the content. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Also, thumbs the video up. It tells YouTube that people are liking my content. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Tell me if you have declutter fragrances from your collection yet. Tell me if you have a fragrance that you would never declutter from your collection. Until I see you on another video, stay blessed, smell fabulous, and bye for now.